Welcome to another episode of Threads of Enlightenment. And I want to thank the wonderful guests for their time, their energy. And it was with a humble heart that I accept this invitation. And it is my hope that as we have this conversation, that they, through their trusting us with their journey, that you and I can learn, that we can become a better human spirit while we occupy this place called Earth, so that we can respond to each other in love and from love. I want to thank you, Dom, for coming to Threads of Enlightenment.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I want you to tell the people what you have created, because it is my audience. They know that I always call us creators, and I want you to tell them what you have today, because they know from my language that creators are always on the move. Your life is going to be different 6 months from now, the things that you have. So I want you to tell them what you have for now.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for having me, and it's an honor. I love what you stand for and what you're trying to do in the world. It's beautiful, and so I am a life coach and a physical therapist, and I have created. I have now currently in my life. I'm working on my coaching business, my life coaching business. So that's my passion, and what drives me is helping people tap into their inner power and their highest potential, because I truly believe, and like you said, we are programmed at a young age with messages that influence us, and I truly believe that we all were born with the potential to live a wonderful life, and that we all are born amazing. I really firmly believe that we have the potential to create what we want in life, but because of the messages that we received early in life, the programming from parents, society, peers, you name it, teachers, we never questioned those messages. We never questioned those beliefs. Mm-hmm. And so that translated to what we see in our life, in our adulthood, because we never stopped to question those beliefs. And many of them are not true. So in my coaching, the biggest thing that I do that I think sets me apart from a lot of coaches, therapists, people that are healers and helpers, is that I really look at those limiting beliefs and those the programming that we received early in our life, and I definitely work on helping the clients shift those limiting beliefs to empowering ones, to beliefs that are based on truth. Mm-hmm. So I help the client kind of become an investigator into their, to really dissect all the negative beliefs that they have in their head at present, in their current life, to really have them write it down, to really examine it, again, like an investigator, and then to look at each of those limiting beliefs, each of those disempowering messages that we received, or that they received in their childhood, and then to, right next to it, look at all the truths around it. I mean, that really is the most important thing that I think anybody can do when they're looking to transform their life, is to change that programming. Yeah. And so that is where I'm at today. And my program, it's a life coaching business that I have. And in it, when I work with my clients, I really work on that first and foremost. But I have 7 tools that I've created. And that's the first tool, the mindset. And that's a foundation of what I do. But it's also, so my goal with my coaching is to help people achieve their highest potential by creating a strong mindset, so changing those messages, those limiting beliefs, the negative programming, but also to help them create a healthy, balanced lifestyle, balanced, with healthy habits, and creating good social support in their life, and having more joy. Yeah. And ultimately, that helps with stress management. So those are those are the benefits of what I provide: stress management, mindset, healthy, joyful life,
Yeah,
helping people live their best life.
that is a lot, and I love it because that is
It's
a honorable profession. Because, as I said on the onset, that we have the beauty, the opportunity, the chance to become teachers, and that is there's nothing like it. But I want to go back, Doc. I want to go back before you are who you are today. I want to talk to you. Want you to talk to us about your programming, because what happens to us is that we're born, they bring us up, and then we get to a place, and then they plug us right in. They plug us into the school system, and we move from one programming platform, which is our home, plug us into the school system, and another programming, plug us into, and then we just keep going, and we never spend the time like you just said. And I love that you said investigate, because I believe that's what happens to us at that point when life comes in, causes a situation that manifests in life to have us begin our investigation. And it is at that place that I say we have entered into a space of enlightenment. And enlightenment in my mind means that you and I have such a privilege and honor to become a better student of ourselves. Walk with me back to your family upbringing. How was that?
Yes, so I did not have the strongest foundation growing up. And I think without a doubt, no question in my mind, that is what fueled me to create the life that I have now.
Mm-hmm.
The adversities. So I grew up in a Muslim family, and I had my parents, I saw them divorce when I was 6. And back then in the 80s, divorce was not as common as it is
Mm-hmm.
today. And especially for a child of a Muslim family, it was not. And so that was hard for me. I was an only child, was very close to both my parents. And then that was like the first, big obstacle I had in my life. And then I think as a result of that, I started to have these beliefs in my mind that, maybe there was something wrong with me, or, you feel that way as
Mm-hmm.
a child, because as a child, you cannot think very clearly.
Yeah.
We don't have the mental strength, the clarity to question those limiting beliefs as a child. So I never did. And that, as I got older, it just resulted in not believing in myself in lots of areas in my life. I mean, it affected every area almost, from the decisions I made in school, and, I changed professions a few times. I finally discovered that physical therapy is what I love to do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not something that I realized right away. I mean, I didn't go to physical therapy school until I was in my late
Yeah.
20s. Before that, I got my master's in teaching. And I mean, I was very
Mm-hmm.
ambitious. And, I think the ambition came from wanting to prove to myself that I could be something that people didn't think I could
Yeah.
be, or, I could achieve, things that I personally didn't think I could. I wanted to prove it to myself. But, I think we all encounter obstacles, like you said. I just love what you said early on. We have a journey in this life. None of us are free of obstacles or challenges and struggles in life. And I really believe that the obstacle that I had early in my life with my parents' divorce set the stage for everything after that. I mean, there's other struggles that have come up,
Yeah.
but that's life. But that was the biggest one for me. And I was very fortunate. For me, I think if I could help people, for me, it was I was born with a lot of ambition and drive,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yeah.
determination. And I think that's a very important formula for success. Fortunately,
I
I
agree.
I had that, and I did have parents that were
Yeah.
great. They work out for them, but they were sweet, and they were just positive for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They loved me. They gave me that love. And I think love really ultimately is a solution to everything. So I'm very grateful for them. I do think that helped a lot. And I remember my father saying to me that, with your mindset, you can move mountains.
Yes.
Anything is possible. And I think that really helped me too. And so I
That's
was
a gift, though,
driven
Doc.
at an early.
That was a gift that was
It
presented in
was.
those words. It was a powerful gift that was given to
He is an incredibly positive person to this day. But as a
you.
child, those messages that you hear, like, "Wow, you can do anything with your mind," it's powerful.
Yeah,
And so, yes, definitely made a difference for me. And then also my own determination. I always had this fire in my belly that I could
yeah.
overcome my obstacles. I could achieve what I want. And then, fortunately, I always had a faith in a higher
Hmm.
power. And I always had that in my heart that, okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And so I always prayed for greatness and a better life. And I always got what I wanted as far as, I worked for it. But, I'll give you an example. I always met the right people who motivated and inspired
Hmm.
me. And I read a lot of books. I read tremendous amount of books growing up. And one of the ones that made the most profound impact for me was The Magic of Thinking Big.
Hmm.
And I think it's by Schultz,
David
David
Schultz.
Schultz, or last name is
Hmm.
Schultz. So The Magic of Thinking Big. And I read it when I was a teenager. And he talked about how if you believe in yourself and you have a positive mindset, nothing is impossible. You just have to think big. And so the power of thought, it was that seed that was planted for me that at that time, early in childhood, but also through books and mentors. I started to really focus on thinking positive.
Wow.
And you know what? It worked for me.
But you,
And that's why now,
let
yeah,
me
now in my
interject
life,
this. You as a
yes,
young woman was calling those energy to you because what you believe and
yes,
what you began as you said you were studying and reading and consuming and that information. And I tell people this thing: what you consume, you will draw that energy to you. And
yes,
because of your tenacity in acquiring the knowledge of positive thoughts and all of that stuff. That was the energy that you were sending out, causing those other energies to come into your space to provide the things that you were calling for as a young woman. It's powerful.
100%. Yeah, what you focus on is what you
Yeah.
get. And now that's the message that I want to help people with is that, we take it for granted, our mindset, because it's always
Yeah.
there and we can always um, access it. But, so many of us run on autopilot. We're not
Yes.
aware of our self-talk. And so that's what I focus on. I try to help people create the habit of positive self talk to become aware of how they're thinking and feeling
Hmm.
because the mind and body are connected. But, it's so simple, Ken, but it's such an important message is that if you have a positive thought, you're going to have a positive
Yes.
result. And if you have a negative thought, you're going to have a negative result in life. It's
It's
that
that simple.
simple. But people don't
They don't
realize that.
understand that. I believe that we are energy housed within the body. And I'll give you an example of a story about the wrong type of thinking. I remember reading the Bible. There's a story about Job. And this guy made a statement. He said, "This thing that I have feared has come upon me." What did he fear? He had 7 kids. They all died in one day. He lost all of his wealth. He lost everything. He was stripped naked as far as the wealth and everything, his family, everything that he had achieved was stripped away in one day. And his statement was, "The thing that I have feared has come upon me." So he must have been consumed with that energy, that thought, because he expressed it after it took place upon him. So we are no different. We are not going to get away. This is part of the human experience.
Yeah.
What you think is what you create. It actually
Yes.
causes you to visualize that. And once you tap into the visualization of that thing, you start pulling it straight to you. And you can do that, Doc, on being on automatic because you're playing these tapes back and forth in your mind. And you're
Yeah.
automatically, because the human experience is designed that way, is bringing it to you. And you say stuff like, "I don't know why this happens to me. I don't know why I always have this bad thing," because you're doing it to
Right.
yourself. And so that's why I said we are creators. You create your world. What type of world
Yeah,
do
and
you want?
people exactly. people talk about the law of attraction, and some don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Some think it's, hocus pocus, but really it's science,
Yeah, it's a
right? It's
law.
our mindset. So it's a lot. And I didn't understand it for many years,
Yeah.
but it makes sense to me now, because really, when we focus, when we align ourselves, our mindset
Mhm.
primarily to the truth,
Yeah.
which is that we are love, we are amazing, and
Yes.
capable of just about anything
Anything.
that we want in life. Always have our thoughts during the day focused around that main truth, then everything in our life will follow that, because so it starts with beliefs,
Mhm.
right? Positive belief will lead to a positive thought. A positive thought will lead to a positive feeling.
Mhm.
A positive feeling will lead to a positive result in our life.
Yeah.
That is like, it's fact.
Mm.
That's what's going to happen. If you have a negative, it starts with the root cause. If you have a negative belief, it's going to turn into a negative result in your life. But it's hard for people to do, because it's a habit,
Yeah.
and it's those old beliefs that haven't changed. But here's the beauty of this whole thing, is that once people start to look at their limiting beliefs, because people talk about limiting beliefs all the
All the
time,
time.
but no one really talks,
Mhm.
excuse me, not a lot of people talk about how to change
Yeah.
it and how to actually see transformation. But here's the thing, you can see real change in your life once you start to shift those limiting beliefs. Because once you start to shift those limiting beliefs and look at the truth, you write down what is true.
Mhm.
Those old tapes lose their
Yes.
power. Those old messages lose their power. They may not ever completely go away,
Mhm.
because they're part of your programming, part of your life, but they're going to lose their power.
Yes.
They're not going to affect your reality.
And
And it's sad that so many people are sabotaging their success in their life because they never look at those limiting beliefs. But we all have that potential. We were all born with that
Right. That's
potential.
why I say enlightenment to me means we become better students of ourselves. We then investigate the limiting behavior and belief. Doc, I want to take you back to this young girl. There was a trauma around you, and you took it and internalized that trauma, and that trauma guided your life. The trauma of the divorce from your parents, that you took it as a young girl and internalized it and began to look at yourself and began to implant the less than thoughts. I want you to talk about some of those less than, I am not this, I am not that. I know your dad was on the other side inputting those positive thoughts in there. But what did you allow to creep in and you didn't know until it began to manifest?
So while my father was very positive, he wasn't around in my
Mm-hmm.
life. He remarried, and that was pretty much the end of him being around.
No.
I mean, we kept in touch a lot over the phone and occasional visits, but that impacted me a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as a child, when you don't have that influence anymore, it affects you in your relationships.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I felt like, and every daughter that doesn't have her father around, or not every daughter, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot, feel that, there might be something wrong with them.
Yeah.
That's just how divorce effects and things like that affect a child. And I think in my mind, I was thinking maybe I wasn't worthy of a great relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so that carried on until I started questioning that. And then one day I started to really question that limiting belief. And when I started to, I meditate a lot,
Okay.
and I think that's when I can get the best
Yeah.
messages, that I can focus on the truth. I can connect to my highest self and really focus on what really is
Yes.
true. And then one day it was like a light bulb that went off, but it didn't go off until I questioned it like so many times. At that time, I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, where I now know how to shift those limiting
Yeah.
beliefs. But at that time, I was just
Yeah.
questioning it. Like, wait a minute, I know there's a discord. I know that there's a part of me that always believed in myself also, but it wasn't matching up,
Mm-hmm.
my head and my heart. So anyhow, one day it was like a light bulb went off, and I realized it, and it lost its grip. That
Yes.
limiting belief lost its grip, and I've never looked back. Now I'm like, okay, I know I'm amazing. I know I'm worthy of love. I know I can create an amazing life for myself in a relationship, in a career. I mean, it took a long time. It was a long road. And so with my coaching now, especially working on those limiting beliefs, I want to make that road, the journey that we all have to go through, the struggles that we all have to go through. I want to make it a little bit easier for people.
That's why
Just
you
make it
went
less
through.
painful.
That's why you went through what you did. I tell people that everyone that comes
Yeah.
to and have this conversation, the reason why you went through that is because you can be trusted with the journey to progress through the journey because your heart was being tried and it was seen that it was capable and would go through this journey and would not become stingy with the knowledge that you receive. But you now, because you have gone through, because you have asked those questions, you know exactly what to ask those that are sitting before you because they haven't really took the time, like you stated earlier. There is stages that we go through within our deprogramming, the investigative part. The investigative part is when we begin to question everything. Why do I believe this way? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I always in this situation? And so we have the fact finding, the investigative part, and then we have the part that we then begin to assimilate information into ourselves to then make all of those less than thoughts smaller than they are because we gave them the authority to be grown, to become bigger, and we can also take away the authority from them as we begin to understand who we are, how precious we are, how marvelous we are.
Yes.
And then we change our life. You've been going through college. You said you've done a couple of years before you figure out what you want. And I love this conversation because this is a common thing with people not sure what they want. And I tell the people, the reason why you're there is because you haven't decided what you want. You're still gathering information. But the minute you decide, Doc, I guarantee you, did you not start to implement the plans to put you in the possession of what you wanted? You got into the right school. But before that, when you were in that place of, I want to say just there where you're not sure where you want to, how did that make you feel inside? How were you handling that time of your life with the uncertainties of not knowing where you belong?
Yeah, I've always been determined to figure things out and to create a better life. So the moment I felt the uncertainty, I took action.
Mm-hmm.
So I would read books on trying to figure out what I wanted to
Yeah.
do. I remember in my early 20s, many years ago, I took tests on, what's your best career path
Mm-hmm.
and based on personality tests you take, and that was really helpful. And I knew at the time it said I would be a healer.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long
Wow.
time ago, and now I am. And yeah, and that was in my test results, and I felt like
Wow.
it made sense because I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I landed in physical therapy, and I've been doing that for almost 11 years now. And that I do part time, but I felt like I wanted to do more, and that's why I started the life coaching. But I think that really helped me early on in my life, taking those tests. There's lots of books out there that help provide that clarity.
Mm-hmm. When did you incorporate, what time and what period of your life did you incorporate your meditation aspect? Because this is key. Meditation, I tell people, meditation is the place of clarity. Because we are programmed, and all day long programming, Western civilization, people tend to be petrified to sit down for 2 minutes, to put the phone down for a minute.
Yeah.
They feel
Yeah.
that they have to be connected to that when that is designed to keep them connected, not to be connected to themselves. When did you start? Because it is imperative and important in one's life, in your journey.
Okay, so I started as a daily practice. I started in my early 20s. It was a long time ago, and
What caused you to do that,
um,
Doc? How did that come about? Say, okay, I'm going to start incorporating meditation into my life. How and what?
I think to to experience inner calm, to not have like anxieties. I read about the benefit of meditation. And in particular, like I said, I read a lot of books. And there's one book that I highly recommend because it made me meditate every day at an early age. It's called The Relaxation Response by Herbert Benson. And he's a Harvard psychologist that talked about how he did a lot of studies, and he showed that with transcendental meditation, the physiological benefits are so many, with the heart rate regulating, lowering the heart rate, blood pressure lowering that, your breathing rate, just all the physiological benefits that come with meditation. He talked about that. Then he talked about a process of how to perform transcendental meditation. And it worked for me. It worked.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, wow, at the time I didn't know that much about cognitive behavioral therapy, or as far as, just reframing your mindset, rewiring the brain for thinking positive, all that I didn't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had myself when I was, my high version of me that I am now back then, but I didn't. But the meditation helped.
Yeah.
And because it worked, I did it. And I did it first thing in the morning. I noticed that it really helps set the stage for the day.
Yeah.
It produced that calm that lasted through the day. So I would recommend to your audience, like you said, that's how you get clarity with meditation. So to do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I do it every day.
Even if it's for a few minutes.
Same here. I've been telling them for over a year, and I keep preaching that one thing because I believe the breath that you take within the meditation is the entrance into the supernatural. It is the place of power. And once you get there, I controlled my day in the morning when I meditated, and I would not allow outside energy from whatever situation that has arisen to come into my space to disrupt my energy, because I grew to the space where I knew how to shut it down. I knew how to not allow it to come in and disrupt me. And so my life became different just from meditation alone. Just from that, I began to control
it is
everything.
So powerful.
Yeah, it is.
So powerful.
I hope that people get hold of this thing. It'll change their life. So here you are, you're incorporating meditation. I love the fact that you study and you gather your information and then you pursue it even as you would think about it. You've made your decision, you switched over. What made you say, okay, I want to now go into the coaching aspect of this business? How did you come about it? I know that you always wanted to help, but what was happening internally within you to cause you to begin to move towards that?
Yes. So I wanted to share the knowledge that I had about my own kind of awakening, if like, as you say, enlightenment, so because I experienced that myself, working as a physical therapist was wonderful. I was able to kind of incorporate myself, my ability to motivate people with positive thinking to help with their recovery. And I noticed, their recovery was better when they thought more positive. So that mind-body connection, I saw how helpful it was for them. And I thought, I could take it to another level. I can help people not only with their recovery in the physical therapy with my patients, but also with people in general, helping them touch their own inner light, reach their own inner power, and create a life that they love, have less stress, have a more balanced life, have more joy, and because I went from point A down here to up here where I am now, and I'm so grateful for this, to be in this place, I want to be able to share the knowledge that I have accumulated in my lifetime, because I feel like it's not okay to just keep it to myself.
As I mentioned,
I have so much.
You can be trusted with the journey. Not a lot of people, Doc, are trusted with it because it brings you now into a space where you are vulnerable, in the sense where you're opening up yourself to a different aspect of living, and that is to become a teacher. And that space, a lot of people, I don't know, I've seen that over and over, that because of fear, they would not allow themselves to enter into that place. But that place is a place of joy. It is a place that is not like anything else. So here you are given and you have taken the opportunity to come and become a teacher. And I'm so glad that you are you, because you are you and you've gone through your journey so that you can now help someone to come out faster than you did, because you have it went and investigated the dark places, and you know how to come out faster so that you can better help that person when they sit before you to simply switch what I call it is a change of perspective. You're guiding them now to change their perspective. And as they change their perspective, a new world has opened up. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's as you say that, it just sounds so beautiful. And I just feel that a lot of people, they want more in life. They know that they are capable of
Yeah.
more. They want to feel confident. They want to feel good enough. They want to manifest great relationships in their life. And, because I was there at one point and I kept questioning how to, is there a magic pill?
Yeah.
Is there a way to get there, feel better quicker, achieve what I want quicker? And I, the answer really is that we all have it inside of us, but it's hard unless you have the tools to pull yourself out of that dark space.
Yeah.
And so you asked a question earlier, what made me want to do this shift from physical therapy to the coaching, and why I'm doing this. It's because I can't even explain it in words, but I just feel like because I have the answer, almost like I've cracked the code, I want to, it's just natural. I want to be able to help people. It's a struggle. It's painful. And it's not right that people are sabotaging their lives, when they could get out of it.
Isn't it?
They don't have to.
I know.
We're meant to live in every day.
We are a powerful being, and we are limiting the expression of this being by the limitation of our belief. All things are possible to the believing man. That means that entity, that person, that power that is within you is only limited by you. That's it, and
that's right. But you say that and we hear that, but people don't know how to get there. Still, they know that they have the power. Own your power, people say. You're only limited by your limiting beliefs. People know that, but they don't know how to get out of it, and so that's why
I'm talking to a woman who got out of it, and she's going to tell them.
I got out of it.
Yeah.
I wish I had myself, like the knowledge that I have now, I wish I had it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just now, I don't want, I feel like it's my purpose and mission in life is to touch as many people as possible, to help them believe that they are capable of so much. And really, there is a way to get out of that darkness. There's a way to believe in their self-worth to where they don't question it. They know it. So they wake up in the morning and they can live their life feeling great. There will be obstacles, and that's part of what I teach too is, life is full of stressors, and there will always be, because this is life. But when we stand in our power, when we own our power and use certain tools to stand in that power throughout the day, to create that amazing day, to create that amazing life, then we can truly be happy, truly, feel fulfilled. But it's not easy, it's, I say it's not easy, but I think once you have the tools, because it takes 66 days to create a habit. I think that's what it really comes down to. And that's why it's so important to have accountability and someone to kind of walk you through to get out of those old habits and the old programming, because you have to change those neural pathways in the brain. But I think that's the greatest challenge, because people get motivated just like when they're setting New Year's resolutions, but it only lasts for a short time because they don't see the results. So that motivation fizzles. But if they stick with it for on average, 66 days is what the science shows, then they can start creating those positive thoughts. They just have to keep hammering away at it. And again, it helps to have an accountability coach, or tell a friend, or do whatever you can to stick with it for at least the first 30 days. And then, keep going after that. But I think that's a big process in seeing success, is sticking with it, having that self-discipline to do it no matter what. If you have a goal, if you're going to do your meditation in the morning, if you know the benefits of it, then do it no matter what. Set the intention for the day, read your goals every morning, and remember that you want to have that great life, but you're not going to get it without action. So self-discipline
It
is
is.
key.
Yeah, it is. It is. Personal journey and self-development is a hard and wonderful experience because you're getting a chance to look deep within yourselves, seeing things that you never knew were there, and then coming to grips with it, learning to love yourself, learning to forgive yourself, learning to do all the good stuff. And as you learn how you do the good stuff, then you move through. As you mentioned, when people make their decision, I think what they do is they make a decision, but they also have this expectation that robs them of their the decision, the process by which you get to that. And because of our society are programming us that our expectations should be met right away. We pull up to McDonald's, we expect that burger right away. We pull up to everything, you put on the TV right away. I swear to God, if you let their phone just take a couple of seconds longer booting up, they'll lose their minds in computer as well because we've been programmed that way. But the things that will cause you to shift, and I tell them you have to look at the situation like a big giant yacht. And when the rudder is kicked in, it takes some time to make that turn, but it is going to turn, but it takes some time. You may not look at it initially. It doesn't look at
Yes.
all, but because it's a big giant thing, it's moving, but not, the expectation is that you expect it to be like a car. When you turn, it responds, but no, a ship is different. It takes time to move, but trust me, it's going to turn to the direction that you want.
Yeah.
But you just
Yeah.
have to line up your
You have to,
expectation.
yeah, you never give up. You
Never.
keep trying, keep trying.
You keep moving until there's nothing else, until it manifests, because that's what you want.
Yeah.
Don't quit. Do not quit. I know someone who was paralyzed and was moving in water for months, like a dolphin, just moving certain places, could not walk. Now she walks and runs and rides a bike because she did not give up.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you cannot expect those things that are there for so long to be changed in 2 days or a week or 2 weeks, because it is such a part of you that it takes someone like yourself, Doc, to locate those scotomas within those blind spots in that patient that comes before you and educate them about those blind spots so that they know, number one, that it's there, number two, because it's such a part of them. And then once you know, then you plan together by which you will overcome that blind spot. It takes time.
It takes time, yeah, and that's the truth. Also, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not work. It's definitely work to look at those blind spots and then work on changing those. Creating that positive mindset. But I just truly feel that if people know how to do it, it can be much easier for them.
Yes.
Those is an easy way. I mean, I don't want to say easy, but there's a quicker way.
Quicker way,
and a
because
much
you've been through it. Yeah. And that's the purpose of someone like you guys. Everyone that is listening to Doc and I, she's been through it. And the reason why I like bringing people on like this who've gone through their journey is so that when you sit with them, they can help you. They can guide you through yours, a lot faster, a lot quicker. Because why? They sat there where you are. They asked the questions that they know what questions to ask you that will cause that outcome to show so you can see where you are. Why? Because they had to do it. And so everyone that is listening to me, I want you guys to get in touch with Doc. I want you to find out, because she has that answer. And that if you want to change your life, if you want to move from where you are to another plane, another avenue, one of joy, as Doc, one of expectation, you guys need to get in touch with her. Doc, thank you so much for coming to Threads of Enlightenment. I truly appreciate this conversation. It was rich.
Yes, yes. And I'm so grateful for what you do and for helping shine the light on people to help them reach their highest potential.
Thank you so much.